Clara Whitmore was a woman of absolutes. Her entire life was meticulously built on discipline, strategic planning, and a stubborn sense of self-determination. She trusted in numbers, logic, and execution. To her, emotions were distractions, and anything that couldn't be measured or controlled had no place in her world. Raised in a modest Vermont town, Clara had clawed her way into a quiet fortune through real estate and consulting. She had never relied on luck, never left space for miracles. In her mind, the world didn't reward those who waited, it rewarded those who acted. But life, as it turned out, didn't always follow blueprints. One stormy October evening, she was navigating the serpentine roads outside the small town of Windermere. Rain smeared the windshield, and the pine trees loomed like shadows beyond her headlights. Suddenly, from the darkness, a pair of lights flashed, another car spun wildly across the slick road and slammed into her sedan. There was the screech of twisting metal, the crack of glass, then impact. Her body was flung sideways. A searing pain tore through her spine. And then nothing. When Clara opened her eyes, the light above her was blinding. Monitors beeped rhythmically beside her, unbothered by her agony. Her body felt alien, heavy and cold. She tried to move her legs. Nothing. Panic surged through her as she tried again. Still nothing. A man in scrubs entered. His eyes were kind, but his tone was carefully measured. "Miss Whitmore, we need to talk about your condition." He explained the injury. A spinal fracture. Irreparable nerve damage. Paralysis. Permanent. She didn't hear the rest. "There has to be a solution," she snapped. "I can pay. Fly in specialists. Try experimental treatments. Europe, Asia, anywhere." The doctor's eyes dropped to the chart. "We've already done everything possible. The damage, it's irreversible." The word clanged in her mind like a dropped tray. Irreversible. Clara had always outmaneuvered failure. She'd bent rules, defied odds, won battles through sheer force of will. But not this time. The hospital room grew suffocating with silence after he left. She refused to look at the wheelchair parked beside her bed. It sat there like an insult. Weeks later, she returned to her secluded stone cottage on the outskirts of Windermere, the one she had renovated herself with her own hands. The one with sharp lines, clean symmetry, and walls that didn't ask questions. She declined visitors, ignored calls, and avoided her reflection. Every morning, she wheeled herself onto the porch, stared at the rustling woods, and dared the world to move without her. Once a week, she forced herself into town, not because she wanted to, but because she needed to prove she still could. That morning was brisk. Wood smoke mingled with the sweet scent of fallen maple leaves. Clara's breath floated in front of her as she made her way across the uneven cobblestones of Main Street. As she paused at a crosswalk, waiting for traffic, she felt a light tug on her sleeve. "Ma'am, need a hand?" She turned sharply. A boy, maybe 13, stood there in a frayed flannel shirt and scuffed boots. His jeans were muddy, but his eyes were steady, older than they should have been. "I don't need help," Clara barked. "Didn't say you did," the boy shrugged. "Just asked." She narrowed her eyes. "Why are you bothering me?" The boy tilted his head slightly. "Because I can help you walk again." She blinked. "Excuse me." "You heard me," he said plainly, like he was offering her directions to the grocery store. "You think this is funny?" She snapped. "You trying to scam me? Sell me some fantasy?" "I don't want anything from you, Clara." Her stomach twisted. He used her name. "How do you know who I am?" He smirked. "I know a lot of things. Like how you think your life is over. How you believe this chair defines you now. But you're wrong." Clara looked away. "Leave me alone." But that night, sleep avoided her. His words lingered. Crawled. Annoying, like a song she hated but couldn't forget. The next morning, she found herself back in the town square. She wasn't sure why. She held a newspaper she wasn't reading, pretending she didn't care. And then he appeared again. "You came back," he said. "Don't flatter yourself," she muttered. "Still think I'm lying?" "I think you're full of crap," she replied. He grinned. "Then let me prove it. Come with me." "Where?" "To some magical hut in the forest." "Something like that." She should have wheeled away, but something inside her stayed. "If this is a lie, you never speak to me again." "Deal." They took a bus, then hiked down a dirt path through pine and frost. Eventually, they arrived at a small wooden building in a clearing. The roof was lined with drying herbs. The beams hand-carved. Inside, there were no machines. Just warmth. Candles. Quiet. "What is this place?" Clara asked. "A place where people remember what's possible," the boy answered. An elderly man stepped forward. His face was etched by time. His hands looked like they had held both sorrow and healing. He met Clara's gaze and held it. "You're not here because of your body," he said. "Oh, spare me," she muttered. He didn't argue. He simply laid his hands gently on her shoulders. The air shifted. Clara felt something unfamiliar and soft, like warmth blooming in her chest. She tried to shake it off. Her spine tingled. Then nothing. "I knew it," she hissed. "A scam." The boy remained calm. "It doesn't always happen all at once." "How convenient," she snapped. "Get me out of here." That night, she couldn't stop thinking about it. The heat, the tingle, the silence. It was all ridiculous, and yet, she sat up abruptly. Her heart pounded. She felt it again. Her toe. A flicker. No, it had to be in her head. She pressed her hand against her foot. It twitched. Not imagined. Real. The next day, she returned. The old man was waiting. So was the boy, standing at the edge of the room. "I felt something," she whispered. He said nothing, just placed his hands on her shoulders again. This time, the warmth exploded like a wave, rushing through her bones. Her legs trembled. Her left foot jerked. She gasped. "What did you do to me?" "Nothing," he said. "You didn't already carry inside." She returned again and again. The others, once strangers, welcomed her quietly. She had once dismissed these people as fools. But now she listened. A woman who had regained her vision. A man who had beaten the cancer that was supposed to kill him. They called it healing, but it felt like something bigger. By candlelight, weeks later, Clara stood. Just for a moment. Just barely. But she stood. Tears slipped down her cheeks. She didn't wipe them away. She stayed in a small cabin near the clearing, rising with the sun each morning, stretching muscles that hadn't moved in years. Trying. Failing. Trying again. By spring, she walked. Unassisted. Slow. Shaky. But upright. When she returned to her stone cottage, it felt like a tomb. The sleek furniture, the calculated decor, it all belonged to someone else. So she changed everything. She sold half her assets. Then more. She bought the land near the clearing and began building something new. Not a hospital, not a clinic, but a sanctuary. A place of recovery and rediscovery. A place where faith didn't need an explanation. One evening, as the first beams rose, the boy returned. "You planning to stay?" she asked. "I go where I'm needed." She stepped closer. "And if you're needed here?" He hesitated. For the first time, he looked uncertain. His hands fidgeted. "I never had children," Clara said. "Didn't think I needed anyone. Too proud. Too controlled." "You still don't," he whispered. "But I want to now." The boy looked up. The smirk gone. His face softened into something raw, unsure. She opened her arms. "You have a home here," she said. He stepped forward, didn't say a word, just hugged her. And Clara, once a woman of cold certainties, embraced the thing she had never dared believe in. A miracle. But miracles are not tidy. One evening, the old man returned. He was older now, cloaked in something ethereal. Without a word, he handed her a folded paper. It was a list of names. People who had once come. People who hadn't returned. "Why are you showing me this?" she asked. "Because belief isn't enough anymore," he replied. "Not in this world. Not with what's coming." That night, someone set fire to the sanctuary. Smoke swallowed the sky. By morning, it was ash. But no lives were lost. The boy was gone. Clara fell to her knees, grief tearing through her chest. But then she saw them. Footprints. Dozens. Hundreds. Not the boys. The others. They had returned. They had come back. Together, they rebuilt the sanctuary stronger. With sweat, with tears, with faith. And one summer afternoon, the boy returned. Bruised. Limping. Alive. "I'm tired," he said. "But I'm here." Clara walked to him. No cane, no aid, and wrapped her arms around him. "You're home." And for the first time in her long, carefully calculated life, Clara let go of the need to understand. Because miracles, she now knew, don't ask for permission. They ask for faith. And she finally had both.